Today I'm going to be talking about how I was able to travel internationally with anxiety and share some of the tricks that I used that helped me prevent having an anxiety attack on longer plane trips. I hadn't really experienced anxiety on planes till a couple of years ago, and each time it kind of got worse and worse just because I would be thinking about my previous experiences. And I had never traveled internationally before. I had never been on a super long plane ride before, and I didn't know what to expect. And my biggest fear was just having anxiety throughout the entire long plane journeys. First trick that really helped me was taking a 12-hour non-drowsy Dramamine before takeoff, because usually at takeoff I would feel a little queasy, and that sick to my stomach feeling is kind of a trigger for my anxiety, and so taking the Dramamine before takeoff really helped stop that feeling and kind of calm my nerves a little bit as well, I think. And then the next and biggest tip I have is to come prepared, come overly prepared. Just come with a lot of stuff to keep your mind occupied, and come so prepared so that you don't run out of things to do and you aren't bored and you can't leave your mind to wander and think about your anxiety. So a couple things I did to keep my mind occupied. And the first thing was to download shows and movies ahead of time, because you don't know really if your plane is going to have TVs on it or even like good reliable Wi-Fi until you're on the plane. So you want to download some shows and movies on your phone ahead of time so that they're already there for you to use when you're on the plane, and you can use them on airplane mode as well. I do this through Netflix. You could also do it through iTunes. I'm not really sure what you would do for an Android, but I'm sure there's some app you can use to get shows and movies on your phone. The next thing I do to keep my mind occupied is to use Spotify Premium. I have Spotify Premium usually. When I didn't before, I would get it just for the month of traveling. And through Spotify Premium, you can download playlists or certain songs. So you can have those songs and playlists while you're on airplane mode, during takeoff, during landing, anytime when you're like most anxiety ridden. So for my trip, I downloaded 3 playlists that I knew would help me out. The first one was the Greatest Showman playlist, because that playlist just brings me a lot of joy, and I knew that it could keep me distracted and I'd be singing along in my head. The second playlist I downloaded was a playlist that I made of all my favorite Christian songs, because those songs just really have a way of calming me down. And the third and last playlist that I had downloaded was a playlist of meditation music. It's kind of like white noise music. So the next thing I brought were a couple of my favorite magazines, and then a book that I knew that I could get easily hooked on and would want to read nonstop on the plane. And the last thing that I brought to distract myself was paper and pens, because drawing and coloring can reduce your anxiety, and I also thought it'd be really fun to play some games with my husband while we were flying. One thing that I learned when we switched over from our plane that was in the States to our plane that was going to be flying internationally, international flights are so much better in my opinion. They're a lot bigger, more spacious. The seats are a lot more comfortable. Everyone got pillows, blankets, TVs, water bottles, headphones. We got not 1 but 2 really good meals. There were a lot of bathrooms, so you didn't have to feel awkward getting up and waiting in line, because there weren't really ever any lines for the bathrooms. And I think because the aircraft was a lot bigger, it made it so you couldn't really feel any of the movement, you couldn't really feel much turbulence, so it's just a lot smoother of a journey as well. Now flying both internationally and just in the States, I much prefer the long international flights to the shorter flights in the States. So my biggest tip is just to keep your mind busy from thinking about the anxiety and to not let your anxiety stop you from pursuing your traveling dreams. I am so glad that I was able to get over it, and now that I know that I can do it, I know that I can go on more trips. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found at least one of these tricks helpful. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe or leave me a comment. Thank you.